Good morning, beautiful kings and queens. I hope that you guys are doing well. I hope that this be a beautiful and a blessed day for you. Quick thing came to mind is like people, they see your praise, but they don't understand your pain. They hear your testimony, but they weren't with you in your testing season. A lot of the times people will judge you simply because you're always talking about God and the goodness of God. But they were not with you when you went through your trials, when you went through your tribulations. They did not see you in your midnight hour. They did not see you when you cried yourself to sleep. They weren't with you when you could barely stand up, but they would like to judge where you are now. For me, myself, I have had, I wouldn't say a rough life. I've had a trying life. Just like when you're in school and you go from level to level, like grade level, from first grade to second grade to third grade to fourth, and so on. There's always a test that you have to take to make it to that next grade level. In our lives, when God desires to elevate you, he's going to bring a test about. He is going to bring about circumstances that will show what that will push you to show what you learned in your last season. And only after you pass that test are you able to go on to your next level. So a lot of the times people come when you've leveled up, or people come when you have passed those tests, and they just see you in that certain situation and they don't know what you've had to endure, what you've had to go through to get the rewards that you're reaping now. And a lot of the times that leaves people thinking that you have it so easy, but they don't see what you had to go through. I've gone through being taken advantage of, being robbed for everything that I work for being disrespected, for just being just challenge after challenge, having to start over and over and over and over, crying myself to sleep, wondering, God, why me? And people will come around after you've gone through those things and they think that your life is so easy. No. Like, you really had to go through. You had to pass those tests. You had to endure the heartaches. You had to endure the disappointments. You had to endure the embarrassments. Nobody talks about those things. The embarrassment, the degrading. You had to endure all of that to be where you are today. So if you don't understand someone's test, don't judge their testimony. If you don't understand someone's pain, don't judge their praise. So for me, I'm always going to give God glory. I'm always going to put God in there because I know what he has done for me. And when I think sometimes of what God has brought me through, where God has brought me from, like, I can't do anything but just worship. I can't do anything but just glorify him. And it's such an honor. It's an honor to know him. It's an honor to commune with him. It's an honor. It's such an honor because I know not by my own might, not by my own power, not by my own strength, but only by the strength of God am I where I am today. Only by his power, only by his grace, only by his right hand. That's it. I can take no credit. I can take no credit. He's been so good. He's been so good. Even in the testing, he's good. Even in the problems, he's good. Even in those situations, he's good. He's a good God. Just like Job's wife. Job's wife saw him being tested, and the first thing she said is, curse God and die. Absolutely not. The same God that was back then is the same God that is today. When you look over your life and you see all the things that God has brought you through, when you hit another stumbling block, when you hit another trial, when you hit another test, you have to remind yourself, God brought me through last time. What makes it any different? He's gonna bring me through this time. He's real. Like, he is so real. So not only when things are going good do you praise him, not only when things are going to your benefit do you glorify God. You have to glorify him in the valley. You have to glorify him when you're going through the storms. You have to glorify him when you're under pressure. That's not the time to give up. That's not the time to turn your back on God. Glorify him, praise him, you know, in the good and in the bad. A lot of people, when things are going good for them, they don't remember God. They forget him, you know. And then when the trouble hits, when the fire starts being lit under you, that's when you want to, oh God, if you get me out of this one, I promise I'll behave myself. I promise God I'll turn away from my wicked ways. But then when the going gets good, you don't even remember. And it's human nature. You know, we're prone to wander. We're prone to, you know, to go astray. But you got to remember. You have to remember who brought you out of those pits, who brought you out of those valleys, who brought you out of the fire. You have to remember him. You have to remember him, because he's, you know, even in the testing, he's there. Even in the trial, even in the tribulation, he's there. He loves you so much. Like, he's so amazing. And to come into contact with God is like, you never be the same. To come into contact with the knowing, with the all-knowing, the all-seeing, you'll never be the same. You'll never be the same. You know, a lot of people like to think that they are God. You're not God. But come into contact with God is such a beautiful thing. So beautiful. I don't know where I would be. I don't know who I would be if I didn't know the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. I don't know. I really don't know. So just keep that in mind, guys. Like, praise him when it's good and praise him when it's bad, because he has a plan for your life. He has a predetermined destination for you, and it's to prosper you. It's to see all good things for you. But if you give up in the valley, if you give up when things are tough, how will you know what the expected end is? If you give up when you hit a little road bump, how will you know the destination he was trying to take you to? A lot of you guys are so close to what you prayed for, but you give up too soon. You give up too soon. You forget to glorify him. Some people are just like 2 or 3 steps away, and then you say, oh man, it's too much, and then you turn back. No, that's part of the testing. So that way, when you do tell your testimony, that people will know that, wow, this God is real. Wow, they're onto something, like, for real. You know, so don't give up in the trial. Don't give up in the hard times, because your testimony is going to be so beautiful. Your testimony is going to be so great. I hope that you guys have a beautiful and a blessed day. Thanks for listening.